Hey there, this is Yazdi from Boulder, Colorado, and in this video I'm going to talk about the 4 stages of learning a new process or a new skill. And I think this video will really help you, especially if you're trying to learn something new, just to understand the process that everybody has to go through in learning that. And so the 4 stages go, first thing is you are, first of all, unconsciously incompetent, and I'll just explain them in a little bit. Second, you're going to be consciously incompetent. And then the third stage is consciously competent. And finally, it is unconsciously competent. Now, what do all those mean? So the first stage is unconsciously incompetent. What that means is you don't know what you don't know. So basically, you're learning a new skill. You don't really know what's required for that skill. You're just getting started, and someone else probably has to teach you. And then the second phase is you become aware of what you don't know. So you become consciously incompetent. So you don't know, but you're still not proficient at that skill, okay? And then eventually, with enough practice, you get to being consciously competent, meaning that you do know, but you got to think about it. You know what you're doing, but you still have to think about it. And finally, you get to the stage where you are unconsciously competent, meaning that you know what to do and you're good at it and you don't really have to think about it. It's kind of like second nature. So I'll give you an example. Some of you watching this probably drive a stick shift car. And assuming that, let's say your dad taught you how to drive it, he probably first sat down and talked about it. And at first, you probably didn't know what a clutch was, what neutral gear is, or even how to turn on a car. So you didn't really know what it took to do that. And especially before you saw a car, obviously you never knew what it takes. And so what happened was your dad told you that, so put the car in gear, turn it on, and, put your foot on the brake and put your other foot on the clutch and slowly remove the clutch. At the same time, push down on the brake. And at the same time, you want to move slowly and start increasing the amount of gas that you're going to put while you're taking off the clutch, and also be aware of your surroundings and where you're going. And if you get to a stop sign, stop, and things like that. And what happened was when you first tried it, your car probably stalled. Okay, I don't know about you, but I know it took me a long time to get that skill down. If you're one of the exceptions to the rule and your car just started going as the first try, well then that's awesome. I applaud you for that, but that doesn't happen very often. So then you became more consciously incompetent. You understood what it takes to accomplish that skill, in this case driving a car, but you weren't really good at it, okay? So you're still incompetent, you're just not very proficient at it, but at least you're aware of what it takes. And so what happens is you practice and practice and practice, and then you finally get it down to where your car's not stalling, turning off in the middle of the road, but you got to think about it. To the extent to where you want to focus, you don't turn on the radio, you don't want anyone talking to you. If people are talking to you, tell them to be quiet, you're focusing, because you got to think about the gear and the clutch and moving and cars around you, and you can do it, but it's taking up most of your mental focus. And eventually, for those of you who've been driving a stick shift for a while, well, we got women doing their makeup and they're listening to the radio and talking on the phone at the same time and driving and shifting gear. And if a car comes in front of them, they're careful, they know exactly what to do. So then they become unconsciously competent. Now they've gotten to the highest level of knowing a skill, which is they're doing it very proficiently, but they don't have to think about it, okay? And the same applies for me when I learned how to ride a motorcycle, when I learned how to go snowboarding. It took a while, but now I can do those things without even thinking about it. And so, if you're trying to learn something new, keep in mind that everyone starts from somewhere, and they first start from not knowing how to do what they need to do. I heard something very nice today, which was really inspiring. Albert Einstein was taught at some day that 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, that's where everyone starts. Just remember that. We look at these people who do things that just seem so amazing. We wonder, how could I ever get that good at what that person is doing? Whether it's a sport, whether it's a skill, whether you're building a business, but eventually, with enough practice and repetition, and obviously the correct mentorship, so you can keep correcting yourself, then you'll get to a point to where you'll go from being not only unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent, but eventually you'll get to consciously competent, which is a great place to be, by the way. It's okay if you're not the best and doing things without even thinking about it, because it takes a lot of practice to become finally the final stage of learning a skill or knowing a skill, which is unconsciously competent. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts. If there's anything that you've had an issue with in the past and you can give me some more examples, leave a comment here, share this, and hopefully inspire some other people as well, because life's all about learning. And one of the biggest hurdles is getting started, but I think understanding this 4-step process, it can really help get started and eventually get to where you're doing things that you never thought were possible and without even thinking about it. God bless. This is Yazdi for Boulder, Colorado. Have a wonderful day.